With a nearly 80-year history full of celebrities and thousands of attendees, Spring Sing seems pretty hard to dismiss. But after the pandemic pushed the show online for 2 years, UCLA seems to be forgetting about one of its oldest traditions.
Hi, my name is Ava. I'm this year's Spring Sing Executive Director.
When Ava was a freshman, she attended the last live Spring Sing 2019, held in Poly Pavilion.
I was seeing these sketches and these performances happen in full, and I was just really blown away.
Spring Sing is an annual music competition featuring a wide variety of student musical talent interspersed with comedy sketches from the group company.
Being surrounded by that caliber of talent and knowing that these people could live on your floor, they could be eating dinner next to you at B-Plate. It was just very special, and I think it was a really defining moment, honestly, in my freshman year, just knowing that the UCLA experience was way more than just academics and sports.
In March 2020, 2 months before Spring Sing was set to take place, UCLA went online.
So that was sophomore year for me, and I was I was living on the hill, I was doing the sophomore year thing. I think it was my chemistry final that got moved online, and that's when I was kind of like, oh, okay, something's happening here. The 2020 committee started the year with the understanding of, we're going to have an in-person show, because we didn't even know what COVID was at the beginning of the year, right? So they were holding all these in-person auditions, and then it was March where everybody got sent home. So they had to, reroute quite quickly. So a bit different in terms of the planning process for the 2021 committee, and that they had more time. They had really, really wonderful production. They both live streamed online. Basically, we had all these watch parties. I just really commend the committees who put it on during the years that we were online, especially that first year. When the 2 week, in quotations, quarantine grew to be much longer.
In the 2021 to 2022 school year, with the student population vaccinated, testing widely available, and mask mandates lifting across the country, a Spring Sing with live performances seemed possible again.
We went into the year assuming that we would have in-person auditions and in-person deliberations and everything, but then we were moved online for the first 4 weeks of winter quarter. I think something that I've learned just as a human, living through this era, you can't really plan too far in advance, and you have to be prepared to go a different route if things turn out to be a little different. And that's certainly the way that this year's gone. Our priority is still very much getting the acts on a physical stage with a live audience. I mean, it's great that we have a lot of traditions at the school, but also just understanding that traditions can really just happen in whatever form. Just because the last 2 years didn't happen in Poly Pavilion, it doesn't mean Spring Sing means anything else.
As a freshman myself, I'd never heard of Spring Sing before starting this year. I'd never heard of many of these late traditions either forced online or altogether canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic.
As with all the other, major traditions that we have at the school, if you don't know about them, it's kind of do you go? So I'm thinking about even my year, who was the last to see it in person. I'm thinking of, okay, how many of us actually heard about it and went? How do we reach out to students who might not know what it is, and also understand what it is too? How can we get this, live again, and what can it look like in the year that we've been given? Because it is a very unique year. When I first heard about it, I was like, okay, talent show, cool. I did totally different, what happened and what my expectations were. So I think just trying to communicate that, the experience and the feelings that people will feel after leaving the show, really, it was so formative for me. And I know it will be for everyone who attends as well. It's just a matter of, communicating that and getting people to show up.
Spring Sing 2022 is set to make the traditions return to live performances at the LA Tennis Center.
Things can change and traditions can change, and we should absolutely take it as it comes. If it looks a little different this year, that's just because this is the year we're given, and if you think about the history of Spring Sing too, it's been in so many different venues, and it's meant different things, had different types of performances, so it's absolutely morphed with the years. So much to look forward to. I think again, I'm just blown away every year by the caliber of student talent here. You go from one act, and then you laugh at a company skit, and then there's another act. I think I'm going to be very, very happy the night of the show, and I think anybody in attendance, anybody who touches Spring Sing, I think will as well. May 20th, 2022, you should absolutely come.